Hello, my name is Nate Janikin. Over the next 5 minutes, I would like to show you my predictions for what it will take for an NHL team to make the playoffs for the 2017-2018 season. Bottom line up front, it'll take a point more than last year and 20 more points than it did for the 95-96 season. This project was completed as an assignment for the Data 620 course at the University of Maryland University College during the fall semester of 2017. Before we begin, I would like to point out that in all the time series graphs that I will use, you will see a break in the data for 2005. This is due to the labor dispute between players and owners that canceled the 2004-2005 season. We'll start with the item that gets you into the playoffs, points. 2 points are awarded for a win, and 1 point is awarded for an overtime loss. The NHL did away with ties after the 2004 season, but they were also worth a point. There are 82 games in a season, so the highest possible point total is 164. While the NHL has changed its playoff format a few times in the last 20 years, 16 teams, 8 from each conference, have gone to the playoffs since the 1979-1980 season. In this chart, we are comparing a points percentage. This is to account for data from the 2012-2013 season, when only half a season was played, again due to a labor dispute. The blue line shows the average point total from all teams that made the playoffs that season, while the orange line depicts the point percentage of the lowest team that made the playoffs. The prediction shows that the average team will attain 62.9% of their points, or about 103, while the lowest team to make the playoffs has 57.6%, or just over 94 points. While Tableau shows that the quality is low, the predictions seem to be pretty close. When we have Tableau take away 2017 and then forecast, we get values of 62.7% and 55.3% respectively, shown by these constant lines. While the actual average points are very close to the forecast, there is a gap in the minimum points needed, but it still falls within the area for 95% confidence, denoted by the colored shading. This chart shows a direct correlation between a team's goal difference in a season, or their goals for average minus their goals against average, and the percentage of points they earn in a season. It certainly makes sense, but since we're talking about making the playoffs and a team needs points to do that, they need a positive goal difference. If we filter out non-playoff teams, we see that the vast majority have positive goal differences. And when we filter again by the last 20 Stanley Cup champions, we see that they were all positive, the lowest being the Los Angeles Kings in 2012, when they were also the first 8th-seeded team to win the Stanley Cup. So what's it going to take? The top chart depicts the average goals for playoff teams with a forecast of 2.97 goals for in 2018. The bottom chart shows the average goals against for playoff teams and predicts 2.59 goals against in 2018. The NHL has made a lot of changes during the last 20 seasons to promote goal scoring, trying to make the game more exciting with goals, examples being several changes to the layout of the ice and decreasing goaltender equipment size. There was a decline in goals from 1996 to 2004, followed by a slight upward trend from 2006 to 2010, where it has remained relatively constant since. This scatter plot shows the goals for and goals against for each team during each year. The constant lines show the average goals for and goals against for all teams in the NHL. So based on the idea that we want a high goal differential, as a team, you want to be in the upper left portion of this chart. High goals for and low goals against. As we shift the average lines, this chart shows the average for playoff teams, and this chart shows the average Stanley Cup champion. Finally, our prediction. This chart shows a time series for the 3 data points we've looked at: points percentage, goals for average, and goals against average. The constant lines depict the forecasted value for a playoff team in 2018. For the points percentage, it's the minimum points required and not the average. Based on that, we can see that for the Colorado Avalanche, who are predicted to have a points percentage and goals for average below the predicted requirement, and their goals against average well above the predicted line. How good are the predictions? Well, we're currently 16 games into the 2017-2018 season, and the Avalanche have 53.1% of their possible points, 3.31 goals for average, and 3.44 goals against average. All well above the league average, so the Avalanche could make the playoffs if they continue, although the negative goals differential means they certainly aren't going to win the Stanley Cup. All statistics were taken from hockeyreference.com. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation, and with that, let's go Avs.